What is the most dangerous position to be in within an organization? It's not being the CEO. You have all the power. It's not being an entry-level employee. You have no responsibility. The most dangerous and most frustrating position is to be the person who is close enough to power to see the threats, but not powerful enough to stop them. It's the junior analyst who spots the critical flaw in the numbers, but the senior VPs aren't listening. It's the middle manager who sees a toxic employee poisoning the culture, but HR won't act. It's the parent who sees a dangerous trend in their community, but has no political platform. You have the intelligence, but you do not have the authority. You have the insight, but you do not have the influence. When you're in this position, your natural instinct is to panic, to run around, shouting about the problem, sending urgent emails, trying to force people to listen. And this is the fastest way to get yourself labeled as alarmist, hysterical, or not a team player. It is the fastest way to lose the little influence you might have had. When you have no formal power, you cannot win with a frontal assault. You must win with a protocol. You need a different kind of strategy, a strategy of patience, of indirect access, of perfect timing, and of ruthless execution. This is the strategy of covert influence. And the most brilliant, high-stakes case study on how to execute it is not from a CIA manual. It's from the Old Testament. It is the story of a young orphan who became the unseen strategist who saved an entire nation. It is the story of Esther. And the framework she used is a timeless matrix for anyone who needs to change a system from the inside, especially when you are starting with nothing. We are going to deconstruct the Book of Esther not as a children's story, but as a political and corporate thriller. If you are tired of being the most insightful person in the room, but the least heard, hit that like button. We are about to give you the playbook. The story opens in the heart of the Persian Empire, the superpower of its day. The CEO is King Xerxes, a man of immense power, but also, as we see, of fragile ego and poor judgment. This is a critical detail. The system is powerful, but the leader is volatile. In this system, there are two key players. First, there is Esther, a young Jewish woman, an orphan, a complete outsider. She has zero social or political status. She is, for all intents and purposes, invisible. Second, there is her cousin and guardian, Mordecai, a low-level civil servant who sits at the king's gate. This is our starting team, a nobody and a low-level employee. And this is where we see phase 1 of the Esther Matrix, the access protocol. The king dumps his wife in a fit of ego. He decides to hold a kingdom-wide pageant to find a replacement. This is not a love story. It is a corporate recruiting drive. Mordecai sees this not as a threat, but as an opportunity. A high-risk, high-reward infiltration plan. He tells Esther to enter this recruiting process. But he gives her one critical instruction. Do not reveal your nationality and family background. This is a strategic decision. He is placing an agent. He understands that in a hostile environment, being underestimated, being invisible, is a form of camouflage. It is a strategic advantage. Esther executes this perfectly. She wins the pageant and is made queen. She now has one of the most valuable assets in any organization: access, not power, access. She has proximity to the CEO. She uses this access to build her brand. For 4 years, she is the perfect, quiet, non-threatening, supportive presence. She builds a reputation for being agreeable, beautiful, and most importantly, uncomplicated. She makes no requests. She causes no drama. She builds a massive reserve of political and relational capital. Simultaneously, her partner Mordecai is executing his part of the protocol, data gathering. He sits at the gate, the water cooler of the empire, and he listens. He overhears a plot to assassinate the king. He passes this intelligence to Esther, who passes it to the king, giving Mordecai credit. The plot is stopped, and Mordecai's loyalty is noted in the official corporate records. This is phase 1. It is slow. It is patient. It is about strategic positioning, not action. It is about building a brand of trust and gathering critical intelligence. Most people with a big idea fail here. They get access and immediately spend their political capital on a small, personal project. Esther plays the long game. Now we enter phase 2. The threat and the strategic pause. A new player is promoted, Haman. He is made the new chief operating officer of the empire. He is arrogant, egotistical, and insecure. He demands that everyone bow to him. Mordecai, our man at the gate, refuses. His integrity is not for sale. This infuriates Haman. His ego is so fragile that he can't just punish one man. He decides to destroy Mordecai's entire people. He identifies a systemic threat, the Jews. He goes to the king with a brilliant, evil pitch. He says, "There is a certain people dispersed among the peoples, whose customs are different from those of all other people, and who do not obey the king's laws. It is not in the king's best interest to tolerate them." He frames his personal vendetta as a corporate risk. He even offers to pay for the extermination himself, funding the restructuring from his own budget. The king, being a volatile and distracted leader, doesn't do any due diligence. He just says, "Keep the money and do with the people as you see fit." He signs the decree. The date for the genocide is set. The threat is now active. The clock is ticking. Mordecai sends the intelligence to Esther. The message is simple. The company is about to execute a catastrophic, evil plan. You are the only one with access to the CEO. You have to stop this. And what is Esther's first response? It's not, "I'll do it." Her first response is pure, rational, process-oriented fear. She sends a message back. This is not how the system works. There is a protocol. Anyone who goes to the king without being summoned is put to death. The only exception is if he extends the golden scepter. I have not been summoned for 30 days. She is saying, "My access is cold. If I make a move now, I will be executed before I can even make the pitch. Your request is a suicide mission." Mordecai's reply is one of the most powerful strategic reframings in history. He says, "Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape." He shatters her illusion of personal safety. He tells her she is not an observer. She is a target. And then he delivers the killer line. "And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" He reframes her entire 4-year brand-building campaign. It was not for her. It was for this moment. He aligns her personal survival with the execution of the mission. Esther is transformed. She moves from a passive agent to a chief strategist. She takes command. She gives Mordecai an order. Go, gather all the Jews, and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my attendants will fast as you do. This is not just a spiritual act. This is a strategic pause. This is a 3-day war room session. She knows that a reactive, panicked move is a losing move. She is stopping, thinking, and building a protocol for engagement. She is insulating herself from the panic and creating a space for pure strategy. This leads to phase 3, the stakeholder management protocol. Esther has a plan. It is brilliant. It is counterintuitive. And it is incredibly risky. She has the access. She could burst into the throne room, as Mordecai wanted. But she knows the CEO, Xerxes, is an egomaniac. A direct confrontation is a 50-50 gamble at best. A public accusation against his COO, Haman, would make him look weak and foolish. She needs to manage the stakeholders. She needs to isolate her target, Haman, and perfectly prime her decision-maker, the king. So, she gets dressed in her royal robes and stands in the inner court. The suicide move. The king sees her, and because she has spent 4 years building a brand of being no trouble, he is intrigued, not angry. He extends the scepter. She has passed the first test. He asks her, "What is it, Queen Esther? What is your request? Even up to half the kingdom, it will be given you." This is the blank check. This is the moment to make the pitch. And Esther does nothing. She says, "If it pleases the king, let the king, together with Haman, come today to a banquet I have prepared for him." This is a move of pure genius. Why? 1. She doesn't put him on the spot. She knows he hates making big decisions under pressure. 2. She honors him by throwing a private banquet. This strokes his ego. 3. She invites Haman, the target. This disarms him completely. He thinks he's being honored. 4. She takes control of the environment. The meeting will happen on her turf, on her timeline. At the banquet, the king is feeling great. He asks again, "What is your request?" It will be given you. This is the second chance to make the pitch. And again, Esther does nothing. She says, "My petition and my request is this. If the king regards me with favor, let the king and Haman come tomorrow to the banquet I will prepare for them. Then I will answer the king's question." This is the master stroke. Why a second banquet? She is creating narrative tension. She is making herself the most interesting and unpredictable person in the empire. The king's curiosity is now at a fever pitch. He is obsessed with what she wants. She is also giving the system 24 hours to work for her. She is letting her target, Haman, hang himself. And that is exactly what happens. Haman leaves the banquet so full of pride that he is insufferable. He goes home and boasts to his family. But then he sees Mordecai, who still won't bow. It ruins his day. He and his wife devise a plan to impale Mordecai on a 75-foot pole the next day. That same night, the king can't sleep. Why? Because Esther's unresolved plot has made him anxious. He does what many CEOs do during a sleepless night. He asks for the company records. He has them read the logs of his reign. And what do they happen to read? The very entry about Mordecai, the man who saved his life from the assassination plot, who was never rewarded. At that exact moment, Haman walks in to ask permission to impale Mordecai. The king, now obsessed with his own legacy, asks Haman, what should be done for the man the king delights to honor? Haman, in his arrogance, thinks the king means him. He lays out a lavish plan. The king then orders Haman to do all those things for Mordecai. In 24 hours, Esther's strategic pause has completely reversed the power dynamic. Her enemy has been publicly humiliated, and her ally has been publicly vindicated. And she hasn't even made a request yet. If this level of strategy doesn't impress you, I don't know what will. Hit that share button. Now, Phase 4, the decisive strike. It's time for the second banquet. The king, Haman, and Esther. The king is now perfectly primed. He asks a third time, what is your request? Esther has waited for the perfect moment. Her target is humiliated. Her ally is secure. The king is desperate to grant her request. She executes her pitch. It is flawless. First, she centers it on him. If I have found favor with you, Your Majesty. Second, she makes it personal. Grant me my life, this is my petition. And spare my people, this is my request. Third, she reveals the threat. For I and my people have been sold to be destroyed, killed, and annihilated. Fourth, she exposes the internal enemy relative to the CEO's interests. If we had merely been sold as slaves, I would have kept quiet because that would not be an issue worth disturbing the king about. She frames the problem not as a human rights issue, but as a bad deal for the king. She implies Haman's plan is not even profitable. The king is enraged. Who is he? Where is he? The man who has dared to do such a thing. And Esther, having cornered her target completely, makes the final, devastating move. She points. An adversary and enemy. This vile Haman. The game is over. Haman is exposed. The king is furious. Haman is executed on the very pole he built for Mordecai. Esther and Mordecai are given his estate. They are empowered to write a new decree that saves their people. She won. She didn't have an army. She didn't have a title that mattered. She didn't have formal power. She had a protocol. So what is the blueprint for us? The core principle is this. Influence is not a function of authority. It is a function of access, information, timing, and strategic patience. The person with the best protocol will always beat the person with the biggest title. Here is the 4-step Esther matrix for influencing without authority. Step 1. Secure access and build your brand. Forget about the big ask. Your first goal is to get in the room. This could be volunteering for a cross-functional project, or simply building a reputation for being the most reliable, no-drama employee. Play the long game. Build your political capital by being trustworthy and quiet. And use your access to listen. Gather data like Mordecai. Step 2. Triage the threat or opportunity. When you see the threat, do not panic. Do what Esther did. Call a 3-day fast. Take a strategic pause. Isolate yourself from the panic and think. Analyze the key players. Who is the king, the volatile decision maker? Who is the Haman, the threat? What are their true motivations? What does the king really care about? Hint, it's usually his own ego or security. Step 3. Prime the stakeholders. Never make a high-stakes request in a cold meeting. You must use the two-banquet strategy. Your goal is to get your decision maker and, if possible, your adversary into a neutral, controlled environment. Your first banquet is a meeting where you make no request. You are there to build rapport, stroke their ego, and make them curious. You are creating narrative tension. This primes them to want to help you. Step 4. Execute the decisive strike. After you have primed your decision maker, you schedule the second banquet, the real meeting, and you make your pitch, framing it just as Esther did. 1. Acknowledge their status. 2. Make it personal. Here is how this affects us. 3. Expose the threat in terms of their self-interest. Show how this problem is a bad deal for the king. This is how you turn your intelligence into influence. You make your problem their problem. That is the matrix. It is a protocol for the powerless. It is a strategy for the smart. So, here's your immediate next step. Think of a change you want to make in your organization, but feel you have no power to effect. Now, forget about the solution. Just do step 1. Identify one person who has access to the key decision maker. Your only mission for the next 30 days is to build a brand of trust and reliability with that one person. Get access. That's the first move on the board.